There was a scare in El Paso outside of the Casa Carmelita. This is a migrant community center earlier this week when a man with a gun and a knife and other concerning things was apparently, according to witnesses, threatening people. And so police spokesman Robert Gomez said just yesterday that a 21-year-old who was a suspicious subject was detained and interviewed before being released. He was reportedly armed with a gun and a knife. This is an individual who drove his pickup, which, as you'll see in a second, is plastered with a Rambo-like image of Donald Trump. He drove from Houston to El Paso on Wednesday for Donald Trump's trip to the city. Now let's show you a picture. This is from when they initially took, I guess, control of the person. And it's just an image, but it really does say a lot. So this individual is wearing gloves, like the sort of gloves that you would have to stop your fingerprints from being on things, hypothetically. You can see in the bottom portion, Donald Trump has been put onto the body of Rambo. And the image on the right-hand side it's difficult to read a lot, but you can see a supportive message about Ted Cruz. You could probably see the reference to the word fluoride. I don't know what else it says, but I'm pretty sure what else it says. And there is 9/11 was an inside job is written there as well. And so there you see a close-up of the individual with Donald Trump wielding some sort of massive weaponry. And of course he's doing the hand signal that totally doesn't mean anything.
That means white power.
No, it doesn't. That's them being ironic about it. That's all. Because you libs think it means white power.
No, it does.
So now they are doing it to be ironic.
No.
That's the BS conversation.
I don't know, and it's the same thing I feel with Q. It's like I'm just going to take it seriously, like whether you're trolling or not. It has been proven that your behavior inspires terrible actions. And when someone who is in the process of carrying out a terrible action is also doing that.
Yeah.
The one thing I just need to point out is, you know who's not like Rambo?
Donald Trump?
Donald Trump and Ted Cruz.
No,
they're not. Ted Cruz is certainly not like Rambo, because Rambo wouldn't let you talk such trash about the guy's entire family and then come back and be like, yes, sir, can I have another?
Rambo also not known for having bone spurs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that is 100% true. So there is this weird thing on the right where I guess it's the authoritarian personality. It's the desire to have a strong man. That is supposed to be a metaphor, sort of, or at least a loose descriptor in terms of their personality and the negative impact they have on a country, but they want to have a literal strong man. And so whether it's him or that right-wing cartoonist, I think Ben Garrison, when they picture Trump, he has to be muscular. He has to have a six-pack. I don't understand that inclination at all.
I understand the inclination to have that. That all makes perfect,
but
sad, transparent sense.
Does have that.
That's the thing. Is also, if you're strong, you shouldn't need someone like that to lead you.
Yeah.
So also, it really proves the detachment from reality that they're willing to allow to happen.
Yeah.
Like they want to show you the real thing that's going on. Oh, fluoride, they're doing something with the fluoride in the water. That's the truth, man. Oh, there's a deep state conspiracy trying to show that Donald Trump, like trying to hurt Donald Trump, man. That's what's really going on. Meanwhile, here's a fictional depiction of a guy's body.
Yeah.
Like that's fake.
Yeah.
You're making that up. You're also making the other stuff up.
Which, by the way, this can happen on both sides. We know that the Krasensteins had a book with Bob Mueller, and he had ripped abs in that.
Yeah, I think it's stupid.
But anyway, quickly returning to the hand signal, I get what the conversation they want to have about it. But whether you're actually a white supremacist or you just want us to jokingly think you're a white supremacist, I would argue that those are not different things.
Yeah.
At this point, the Casa Carmelita shelter put out a statement about what happened on their Facebook page. We want to read you a few sections. They said, when he was asked clear questions concerning our safety, repeatedly told us that he has rights. So this is the cops told the community center that he has rights. They now say, what was that large bag of white powder you pulled off of him? Should we be concerned about explosives? Did he have a concealed weapons permit? Police stated that the gunman has rights, that they cannot search his truck, and that they have no cause to arrest him. No cause to arrest him. An eyewitness saw him brandishing a gun and attempting to enter our building. Women were fleeing down the street, warning neighbors as they ran away. Just a little bit more for now. We watched officers removing clips of ammo from his person. One officer acknowledged that if they had not arrived when they did, Thomas was likely to have committed acts which would be, quote, a different situation. They released him shortly after on our block. He had ammunition on him as well, a big gun, a knife, gloves, powder for some reason.
Well, the gloves, maybe he's joining Blue Man Group or something.
That's true. You're just like dipping your hand in the water.
So what's the solution? The solution is to have someone near him with a gun for the moment that he does start shooting.
That is Sean Hannity's solution.
Intimidation and harassment are not okay. So if he intentionally goes with the purpose of intimidating and harassing, that is not okay.
Yeah, but I mean, this is, as we talked about in the break, you didn't hear, but this is the week after a horrendous, terrible terror attack on that community in that city. And his inclination is to go there to, at the very least, terrorize people.
There's an amazing BuzzFeed article going, I think it was BuzzFeed, where they went through and said, they tracked like when the Black Panthers would walk around with guns and how the right really wanted gun control at that time. And it was just fascinating because that's what it is. And yes, he has rights and so does everyone, but there is a wild difference between someone going to this location. I mean, the police should at the very least ask him to leave and get out of there.
Yeah.
And then the white.
Yeah, they left him on that block.
I mean, and this is a thing that I hear a lot from people on the right who still try to defend Trump amid what is very obvious racism and terribleness.
Yeah.
Is they say you just don't like that he's mean. And it's okay to be mean. And then that translates in much larger proportion to people like this who feel emboldened to go out there and stand with a gun outside a place like this. And I just feel like we should all take a second and realize how crazy that is.
Yeah.
What a crazy thing that is to imply. And yes, it emboldens these people and they want to feel strong when they feel like they have lost something. But I mean, it's incumbent on us to call them out for every time they do it and just show how insane it is to go have your car like that, which you can totally do. These same people have truck nuts. Buy some truck nuts. Don't put the Rambo thing and bring a gun anywhere.
Don't do either. But yeah, so you talked about how crazy it is. Well, let's talk about how crazy it is because as of this morning, we know a little bit more about the individual who had been pictured showing the white supremacist sign. That totally doesn't say anything about your views on race. It's just an ironic thing. It's funny. It's from the internet or whatever. So reached by phone, he said that he often went to Trump rallies, but said he tried to be respectful of the high tensions in El Paso following the shootings, though he said he could not rule out the possibility that the massacre had been a false flag perpetrated by the government. So he tried to be respectful, but probably not that hard since he brought a rifle to a migrant community center, and he believes that it might not have actually happened. Or if it happened, maybe the government, which Trump controls, murdered all of those people?
So with this person,
it's hard to follow a little.
Speaking of flags, if we had some kind of red flag rule, should this guy be on it?
If he was not on it, like honestly, maybe he didn't mean to do anything, maybe he didn't want to do anything or whatever. But it is impossible to say that he didn't, that he could not, that it's not possible that he went there to do this and was stopped or changed his mind at the last second. But he had everything there. We've seen this story so many times. The first few chapters are all there, baked into the situation. The only thing that didn't happen was the shooting.
There's reasonable assumption. That is a term that's everywhere in the law. And I think it's reasonable to assume that a guy who did this was up to no good and legally so.
Well, let's give him a chance to explain some of the odder parts of this story. So he acknowledged that he was legally carrying a pistol, but denied waving it around and said the gloves and knife could be explained. I was eating prickly pears in his truck. So he needed gloves and a knife for the prickly pears. The white powder was a protein supplement he takes along with other Alex Jones branded nutritional supplements.
Cool.
I've never met this individual, but we know a lot about this individual, I feel like at this point.
Go eat your powder
somewhere else.
Go eat your prickly pears in your pawpaw.
I've had a lot of protein shakes in my life. I've never eaten the protein in dry form in a truck on a trip. But also understand that this is not a lone thing. We're not gonna go into detail, but a rifle carrying man was arrested after causing panic at Walmart in Missouri late last night. He says he didn't want to kill anyone, he just wanted to cause chaos. So the week after a big shooting at a Walmart, he took his gun to a Walmart. Seems like terrorism to me. And also there was a group of mourners in El Paso. They're mourning the death of 22 people. And Trump supporters gathered to, they didn't say counter protest, but they gathered around the mourners and shouted pro-Trump statements at the mourners of a terror attack.
They seem like
don't
really
call
cool
them
people.
deplorable, whatever you do.
I mean, It's so bad. And then I saw like a Steven Crowder video earlier today where he's dressed as Trump, throwing things at the Mexican president who he keeps calling like, Andy Garcia and Apocalypto.
Yeah. This is the week of 2 terror attacks, and this is who they are. For more political news, breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.